Here we go for round number 3 of draft. This is going to be, I believe, match point. Isaac will have to correct me, but I'm pretty sure we're in a best of 3. Producer is telling me, yes, indeed, we are best of 3. So this is going to be match point. Once again, Fearless Draft. Bans are going to be on the top there for Game 1 and Game 2, labeled appropriately. No more Zillion there for El Barrio, and I feel like that was a little bit of an issue there. So far, if we're looking at the sides, Spaghetti Spire unfortunately didn't canonically stick with their red spaghetti. They've gone now blue spaghetti. And over on the right-hand side, not quite spaghetti, but we do have El Barrio in red.
I will specify it is the loser's choice of side, so it is El Barrio selecting the red side. Both these teams apparently highly prioritizing the option of a counter pick to them, which I think is a little bit strange potentially for El Barrio, because if I understand correctly that Antis Lima is primarily a support player, I feel like their pool of champions in the top lane could get pinched particularly quickly if Spaghetti Spire do choose to go after it. Also, generally, I'm more of a fan of blue side in general, particularly because just picking up there are just a lot of generally strong champions. I think especially if like Varus is available this time around, I think it has been El Barrio banning out the Varus. I feel like maybe they could have like selected blue side and gotten a little bit more value out of it, but it's their choice, and we'll have to wait and see what they do with it.
With knowing where top kind of sits for Spaghetti Spire, I'm surprised they don't try to grab an Ornn early on, right? Because that strategy top almost worked out well for them. Poppy didn't die a crazy amount in top lane, at least in the early game. It was only once everything started like collapsing in on itself that they really seemed to struggle. So maybe if they can get another pick like that out, would be super great. But that also depends on when he gets banned. I think the bans for Ornn, though, have been in the second pick each time. And I don't remember if it was Spaghetti Spire or if it was El Barrio that was banning Ornn.
I believe it was Spaghetti Spire. Like I said, specifically to kind of pinch Antis Lima's champion pool, at least their top lane champion pool. So I don't necessarily disagree with that, which is, again, I think why maybe El Barrio may have been better served picking the blue side. But whatever the choice may be, it's a change to the Mel ban for Spaghetti Spire, though, interestingly enough. I guess it's going back
so
to
far,
the Mel ban.
So far, our bans are going to be Mel, Yone, Ivern. Spaghetti Spire really worried about that shield into Zac. I don't really blame El Barrio worried about Zac. Zac can really disrupt lines, kind of like Pantheon can, but like a tankier Pantheon. Rumble makes sense. Varus, once again, I don't know the thought process there for Varus. I don't find him particularly impressive. Not that he can't put a lot of work, but still, I don't know. I feel like there's better picks. But if you're banning for your playstyle, that's not the worst thing. Ziggs is going to be our first pick so far for the third round of Fearless Draft of this draft sort of in general. Now we're waiting on El Barrio for their pick. Ziggs, I don't think goes mid too much anymore, so it's probably going to be an ADC.
You say that, but we did see in week 1 Pinaholic do really good on that Ziggs.
Oh, did we?
Okay.
Okay.
On stream, so it is a potential flex pick for Spaghetti Spire. It's not a bad one, especially this late on, as well, since I think Pinaholic can pilot that champion fine enough. But on the counter side, the Cataclysm and the Bullet Time layering on top of each other with his J4 and Misfortune pick, a very potentially strong combo coming out for El Barrio.
I'm digging this team comp a lot better than last time because El Barrio showed over and over they just have this really powerful top laner that's just sort of like this force to deal with, which means they're usually going to go in. They're going to have gold. They're going to be able to be this sort of like big boss to come in, and then to top it all off with Jarvan and MF, I think are just perfect into specifically the play style that El Barrio has been showing so far. Leona there for the other side, pretty decent pick so far. It looks like Spaghetti Spire's done really well on these tanky supports. into the Trundle. Happy to see that. That's going to be a lot of damage. And I think a lot of the fights are going to depend on where he has the placement of that Spire. That Spire is going to be so important for disruption and disorienting people. Especially, I think it can work really well inside of Jarvan's ult.
Oh, but then the El Barrio combo with this Rel, the amount of lockdown. Rel Misfortune is on its own already a really powerful bot lane, and then throw that in with the Jarvan on top. I am a fan of El Barrio's 1-2-3 so far.
I definitely have to agree with you that that combination is very powerful with Rel and Jarvan and MF, and I don't really see anyone that's particularly bad with Rel going forward. Especially sort of she gets this sort of like free E on kind of anyone she wants, which is still weird to me because I'm used to old Rel where you could stun with the E. But the Lance having the stun means she's still got 2 stuns in her kit overall. Mundo ban once again. Looks like El Barrio is really worried about struggling into Mundo, and I don't really blame him. Mundo is just this absolute beefcake that just, his voice line says it all. He goes where he pleases, and it's super obnoxious. So I'm not surprised by that at all. Still, I guess they don't need to ban Sige at this point since Jarvan's been picked.
Sorry, did you say singed?
Sige.
I was about to say. I was like, what are we talking about singed bans for? That's on me.
I don't know. Maybe Singed will be the new MVP. You don't know. No, Sejuani.
I was so confused for a hot second there. It's like, but yeah, actually, these bans, I believe it's the same exact 3 round 2 bans that we saw last time out. And so if we see who was the other ban, it was another top lane one. Why am I forgetting? From the side of Spaghetti Spires, Ornn, Cho'Gath, the Mundo, and it was whatever it is. Very similar look, and the Shin. That's what it was. Thank you. It's the same exact 4 this time around. And
the Shin makes sense.
The Shin makes sense, especially because, like I said, El Barrio. I have a bit of concern, potentially with Auntie's Lima's champ pool, and picking the Orianna does mean that they're showing that El Barrio are showing a lot of faith for Auntie's Lima to potentially pull out a counter pick in this top lane matchup.
And the synergy just continues to stack its way up. I'm really surprised Spaghetti Spire banned Ornn. Maybe they don't think their top lane can play Ornn. But like I think Ornn would have done Spaghetti Spire a lot of work, and they weren't in a good spot to grab it. And at this point, like they can see the mid. I mean, sure they don't know where the top is, but I think it's a safe bet to say that El Barrio is probably going to win the top lane again, unless there's a lot of focus on it. So I think you should plan sort of around that. I think Ornn's a good plan for that. Followed into the Corki for our pick. Quite a quirky pick. I actually don't like it here for Spaghetti Spire. I'm not liking their combo, but I've seen some weird stuff specifically from El Barrio in the previous cast where they had a lot of weird picks and they somehow made it to work. But I just don't like Quirky right now.
It has a certain amount of safety. Okay, Gwyn into what I'm going to assume is potentially the Gragas, maybe the Trundle. I'm getting word that it is the Gragas top lane. And so, yeah, I mean, we've seen how Auntie's Lima has definitely been like a more supportive style player, top laner for their team so far. El Barrio says, well, this is your time to shine to Auntie's Lima, putting them on this really potent carry in the Gwyn.
Sort of looking at everything, I think the supports are going to have a pretty big impact on the game, and I think chat's sort of agreeing with me too, sort of talking about Leona into the comp being really well. So ESP with the Leona to follow up. They said surprised to see Quirky though. He's pretty OP. I mean, I guess I haven't seen him too much at the higher level, but even in some of the Masters content I've been able to see, I haven't been real impressed with this. Give us 1 second as we transition into the game. It's been quite some time, but we're already back, Summoner. Welcome to match point of the Ember Scorch League. 1-1, point for each side. It looks like so far, blue side is not going to be the canonical red spaghetti. We're going to get blue spaghetti from Spaghetti Spire on the left. And in the red, we have El Barrio. Looks like we're not getting a 5-stack, so far it's going to be a traditional defense, looking for those early wards if they can get them off. But I think it's dangerous sort of to go into either one, so it's going to be hard to deal with. Is that Trundle mid, or is he just visiting?
This is actually.
It looks like he's jungle.
Happens.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it is Trundle jungle, but this is something that does happen quite often. You'll see with these lineups is to prevent the knowledge of which side the jungler starts on. We'll see the jungler go into mid lane and then pull back, as opposed to giving the potential option of if there is an invade from the opposition team that they'll see where the jungler is. It's just a strategy to try to limit the knowledge of the other team and what they have knowing. But I do want to circle back to the Corki pick, because I on my side, I actually do kind of like Corki here, how he does have a potential escape with away with the Valkyrie from this really strong wombo combo that El Barrio has drafted. Having that dash available, I think could, if used at the right time, could be a potential turn fighter if Corki can stay alive long enough, dodging out that initial damage. Could turn that around. So I personally don't necessarily mind the Corki so much as Moonshot's getting pretty good value here early on in the top lane.
Gragas can be an absolute beast in the right hands, and so far it seems like Moonshot has been those right hands, especially because Gwen's going to struggle until about the mid game. She really needs those items. But once again, Gwen is always someone to watch out for, because at some point in the match, it's like flicking on a switch where just Gwen comes online. You're like, oh, right, they have a Gwen, and then she just sort of melts the team. You know, I think the more I'm thinking about it, I think you're right. I think the Valkyrie is quite good into this. Having that escape is going to be really, really powerful, and I like it a lot better than maybe an Ezreal. For me, I guess it's kind of like I liked Corki as a mid more than an ADC. I felt like he was in a really good spot there, but Riot clearly disagreed, putting him back down in bot lane. So I guess I'm just not familiar with how he's supposed to match up into bot lane, just kind of in general. And I really think he's got to watch out for this Rel. This Rel can be potentially really scary, but Leo can follow it up and go for the ADC.
Hold on. Potential invades 10, going to be sure that they don't lose their own red buff. But I thought for a second that maybe Sigurd was going to try something a bit funny with that early recall, but continuing on, it's fine. Lima though,
When taking a bit of free damage there, really unfortunate. I don't think Gwen is particularly her strong suit. She is going to do a really good trade here for into Gragas. Gragas is sort of struggling here to deal with it. Leona going to get grabbed here by the Rel. Going to try to get a little bit of stun there. Leona trying to go back in, but I'm not sure they really wanted that. So it's a good thing that Wormtongue missed that, because Corki's pretty low on mana, so I don't think they want this fight. And MF has almost full HP and full mana, so it would probably favor them. Especially with Jarvan over here on the back line. He's going to go for that instead, but looks like MF really got to watch out for it. Going down about half HP. There's going to be an exhaust there in the bot line. Gank going for the top lane. Going to go for that Gwen. Going to go for that weakling. Jarvan going to go for the Corki. Corki getting so close. He's going to have to pop his berry. Is it going to be enough? No, just barely. Not enough, as the first blood goes to Jarvan, and the top gank was not successful. Gwen managing to find an escape there in top.
Yeah, I'm just going to I'm going to harp on Spaghetti Spire's bot lane. You know, the top lane, your jungler's on the top side of the map. Tin hadn't appeared on the map at all, so it's a pretty safe assumption that Tin's probably going to be on the bottom half of the map. And so the option to try to go in and like counter that fight that supportive tried to find themselves, honestly, just not showing that awareness or respect for the Jarvan ganks, which I find just a bit odd, because Jarvan just does have a really good early gank pressure as well, and it came through there. And so El Barrio are up 1 kill to none.
Well, and Corgi was probably putting too much stock into his dash away, but Jarvan's just so hard to get away from. And I think Jarvan's spear is just a little bit longer for his lunge than Corky's is. I would have to see the math on it to be sure, but I think Jarvan's just a little bit longer on that and just has a little bit easier time grabbing it. Leo's going to pop her way in, going to go for the MF, going down to about 30-40%, but once again, Jarvan is visiting bot lane, going to try to get a kill here on Wormtongue. Wormtongue's got to watch it out. There's going to be the sweeper there to try and track her. There's going to be the stun there for Rel as she locks him down. Looks like Trundle finally here for a little bit of support. Going to get some support on support action. 2 TPs in center. Orianna going to show up. Is going to be in time. Is it going to happen? Trundle really wanting this fight. Orianna doing so much damage. Ziggs unfortunately missing a shot there on MF. Jarvan going to go in. Fight's not over just quite yet. Trundle trying to mop things up. Jarvan actually going to go down there. Followed into a kill by their MF. MF just barely threading the needle. Managed to side, but it looks like there's going to be a flash forward there by Ziggs. As Ziggs grabs a kill and tries to go for the Orianna as well. He's got to watch out for it. Corki just not able to find the range to get in there, and Ziggs doing so much damage there to Orianna.
I mean, it is an absolute hectic fight. So much committed to this bottom lane at the end of the day. Spaghetti Spire does pick up an extra kill and does actually start to slightly get ahead in the gold. But it is crucial to mention that El Barrio did get to the 3rd kill first. They have claimed those feats of warfare, giving them a slight advantage in this fight for the feats, for those powerful boots. And oh, who picked that up? Was that Olves getting that one? No, it was 10 picking up that Scuttle Crab in that clip. But either way,
Quinn's gotta watch out for this. It could still go either way. There's gonna be an ult there from Gragas, just barely managing to save him. But either one could have gone down there in the fight. Gragas does have a bit more healing in this early game, but unfortunately he's not able to find the victories there on the Gwen that maybe he needs. So this might work out in Gwen's favor. The more and more even they are, the better I think it is for Gwen. Corky's got to watch out for it. MF does finally back out. They do not want this fight, even though MF looks like she's got 2 kills on the board. She's about 16 CS down, but she should have the gold advantage with those 2 kills and 1 assist so far. KTL struggling a little bit into the Ziggs, but still managing to get off a good number of poke. Not real surprised there. The Silas pick didn't go super well for them, but I really like the Orianna into all of this. I think it gives them a lot of opportunities, and I think the mid game really is going to change a lot of sort of how the flow, sort of how the tempo is going for this entire game.
Definitely a lot of combo potential from El Barrio, even early on. Obviously, the longer this game's on, the more that combo is going to do in terms of damage. But it's taken a while for this first strike to go over, and at the same time, it means that Grubs have spawned at the same time. Auntie's Lima knows that with the passive healing that this Gwen can get, that she's going to try to steal away at least 1 Grub and secure a slight objective advantage to the side of El Barrio, since this strike will be secured for the red side.
El Barrio once again having the heavy focus on those objectives. Not a bad strategy so far. So if they can keep that up and they can turn that into grubs, that'll be really great for them. Quinn's got to watch out here for Gragas is going to ult, but it looks like he's actually going to hurt himself and give Gwyn a little bit of escape. That means Gragas is going to be down on all. It doesn't have the world's longest cooldown, but having it down right before the grubs could sting, and I think it's going to go in El Barrio's favor for them to mop up those grubs.
El Barrio also, specifically Auntie's Lima, did actually pick up the 1 grub there, so no matter what Spaghetti Spire do around these grubs, they cannot get the full claim onto this objective. However, that did take a lot of time out of Auntie's Lima to go and claim that 1 grub. It does mean that without teleport, Auntie's Lima is going to sit now down about 20. About 20
is threatening the grubs, followed into the Gragas. Jarvan does have to pop over the wall, but like you said before, I think that's going to be 2 grubs there. If I'm looking at the UI, it looks like that it is going to be 2 grubs. 1 grabbed by Gwen, 1 grabbed by Jarvan, and Jarvan having to pop their way out. So at the very least, Spaghetti Spider was able to get their hands on 1 grub. Gragas going in for Gwen once again, trying to kite this out, trying to pull it into the Trundle. Trundle going to pop his abilities down. Is he going to be able to get it? That Spire is still up. Is he going to be able to use it in time? Just barely. Gwen going to go down. Jarvan now in danger. He's got to watch out for it. He's going to try and go for the Gragas. Gragas getting a little bit of the knock-up. Jarvan having to flash out, which is going to be unfortunate for him and for Gwen.
Yeah, just really good knowledge from Spaghetti Spire, knowing that they have the damage before Tin can arrive to turn that fight around, and then put Auntie's Lima even further behind. I was interested to see what Auntie's Lima could do off of a more supportive top lane pick, because Auntie's Lima played, like I said before, played support last week for El Barrio, and the picks for them so far definitely seem to be more in line with that. And I didn't necessarily mind their performance on these more supportive champions in the top lane, and now that they're on the Gwen, I mean, Auntie's Lima just hasn't had the best of times, and it's really important that Auntie's Lima can go toe-to-toe in this 1v1, can get that gold, and they've just not been able to do so. As Ult is here again.
Trundle coming back in to try and mop up the kill in top. This Gwen cannot catch a break, and I don't blame them for focusing on the Gwen. They probably feel that Gwen's a little bit of the weaker link, so the good one to go for, and getting Gragas kills are just sort of dominating top, I think could really spell the doom here for El Barrio. Moonshot is able to do a lot with his gold, and we've seen him just absolutely devastate the competition going forward. Now he's going to get a bunch of free plates there in top. Jarvan trying to mop up some of the farm there for their opponent. MF maybe getting a little bit too close there to Leona, but Leona's not going to go for the lunge. And it looks like that's going to be full plates there for Trundle and Gragas in top lane. Gwen just barely able to respond, and Tower's probably going to be gone before really anything she can do anything about it.
Ooh, I don't know. They do have the one grub, but Auntie's Lima is close. If they do get that first tower, it'll help it'll be a lot of gold, especially with the plates, and even things up. So goes to be in trouble.
Leo missing her lunge, but so did Jarvan. Leo's now in danger. It looks like he's going to ult the support, followed into a bullet time. Bullet time doing a good chunk of damage, at least keeping the Corki out. But it looks like Leo's going to die sort of for free. Ignite on, I believe that was Rel, it looks like. Gragas is in danger. There's Ziggs here to support this assault. But there's going to be a TP there for Orianna. Orianna matching her lane opponent. Pretty good ult there, grabbing the Gwen. This poor Gwen can't catch a break.
Yeah, honestly, I thought Auntie's Lima was out of that one, but the edge of that Mega Inferno Bomb just barely clipping the hitbox of Auntie's Lima, putting them down another death. It's now sitting 0-3 and only on 66 CS in 12, almost 13 minutes. It's, obviously, oh wait, hold on. Pinal could be in trouble.
KTL doing a good chunk of damage there to Ziggs. Ziggs gonna try to go for the tower right before he dies, but he is going to die for it, giving Orianna a bit more gold. That's not what you want. Orianna having gold in her bank is going to be hard to deal with, because she can do so much with her ult, and she can just turn fights around instantly, especially if the grouping's not good there for Spaghetti Spire.
It's also such a large portion of this combination that El Barrio has drafted, with the Jarvan, with the Orianna, with the Rel. So giving that extra shutdown gold as well onto the Orianna, not ideal. However, it is in trade for that first tower. They do get the extra plate off that. They get the first tower, which does mean, okay, TL in trouble.
Orianna gonna get grabbed here by Leona, going down about half HP. Corki doing so much damage, and there it is. Finally a kill there on Orianna there for Corki. Corki able to mop things up. Fight over in top lane, it looks like is gonna be favoring the Gragas. Zig's gonna get caught there sort of in the bottom. He's gotta watch out for it. Gragas doing so much damage to the Gwen. Gwen trying to turn it around as much as she can, but she's just not able to find it where she needs it.
Yeah, the positioning on that on a few of those needleworks, especially that last cast of needlework, probably could have put Moonshot completely out of this lane if it landed. But Auntie's Lima, I feel like, surprisingly could potentially have had lethal there onto Moonshots, despite the deficit that they find themselves in.
Rel's got to watch out for the Trundle, as Trundle actually flashes in and goes for the MF. MF hasn't had a lot of deaths just quite yet, and Orianna's going to do everything she can to try to save it. There's going to be the ult there popping off the Trundle. Trundle is now the one in danger. He's gone for Predator Prey. There's going to be the exhaust, and he just can't get out as the bullet time comes in. There's going to be a shutdown there for Trundle. Jarvan popping his ult there, mopping up another kill there. Ziggs has got to watch out for it. He's going to blink backwards. Is it going to be enough? Jarvan does turn around there. That's going to be 2 good kills there for El Barrio. And something I was going to say earlier about El Barrio is I think they've just sort of given up on winning top lane, at least in the early game. And even though Gwen has had 3 deaths so far, like I said, when that switch happens, she can make such a profound impact on the game. So I wouldn't worry about her deaths too much. I think that we're going to see more and more performance for her as the game goes on. Even if it's not necessarily from like a kill standpoint, she just has a lot in her kit to harass and to isolate and really pair well with everything, especially Jarvan's ult, I feel.
I will say though, the teleport from Auntie's Lima in that last fight was a bit late. Didn't really do too much in terms of that fight. And now, as you mentioned, the Squin, if we have mentioned a lot, even though the Squin scales, that's just going to slow down her scaling all that much without gaining anything from the use of that teleport. And I don't know how much as part of this team fight combo it is for El Barrio. I feel like Wynn's strength for the composition of El Barrio is to separate a few members from this main like team fighting portion of El Barrio, to draw pressure, to ensure that that the initiation from El Barrio can go on their terms when they want it. And you're gonna need that extra. Auntie's Lima is going to need those resources, and so spending that time to not get much for it, I feel is pretty detrimental, at least in terms of timing. Slayer,
Leo popping her ult, but it looks like Slayer just able to get out, which is once again like one of the reasons I really like MF for this pick. I'm a big fan of movement speed in this game. It's such a great defensive stat, and it's really showing here on MF. And MF, while not having this capability, having that movement speed has allowed her position. Looks like Shelly is going to pop there in the center. It's going to be a 4v3, and no real response here from the Gwen or the Orianna, which means this tower is basically going to go down for free. There it is, going to get taken down. Jarvan trying to do a little bit extra damage, but it's not over just quite yet. Is actually finally Gragas gets a pretty good ult there, isolating the support. Support going to go down. Rel trying to save things, but it's not going to be enough. Jarvan ulted in, but it's not going to be enough either. He's going to get destroyed and taken out. There's going to be a double kill, weirdly enough, for Leona.
Explosive cast from Moonshot to pull out Slayer from the pack to ensure that they can burst down.
Oh
this
no,
Orianna!
Orianna's gonna get grabbed there by the Leo. She's going down to about half HP, but she's gonna do a good chunk of damage to sort of everyone. Sort of turn into a nothing burger, a little bit anticlimactic as Corki gets a little bit of poking there back and forward. El Barrio needs to be careful. I thought they were going to fare a lot better in this fight, but they seem to really be struggling, and I think synergy might be their problem. Not necessarily synergy between their champions, but synergy between their positioning. Their positioning just hasn't been great, and they keep getting caught, and Leona has been capitalizing on it time and time again, destroying a lot of these fights.
Yeah, really good from Spire, knowing their moments. Knowing that Slayer also didn't have that cleanse from earlier as well. Frankly, honestly, I mentioned that, but I'm not quite sure what necessarily would have done in that exchange, getting chunked down to about half HP. Initially from Moonshot, who's doing a significant chunk of damage, going for that full AP Gragas build, now confirming that with the second Lost Chapter, that double scaling build. So Moonshot's going to be doing a ton of damage while also feeling pretty decently tanky. Could be a very big problem for El Barrio.
4v4 here in a minute. So Gragas has got to be careful. He's really got to watch out for it. Trundle does regroup. That's going to be a full 5 stack there for Spaghetti Spire. I'm not sure El Barrio really wants this fight, although we haven't got a chance to see them do a decent team fight. I would have really liked to see them grab the dragon because they were pretty heavy micro focused, but it looks like it's going to happen. Jarvan actually getting a pretty good lunge there, followed into a bullet time, but it looks like Gragas is going to interrupt it there in the background, ulting the MF out of her ult. So much damage. Gwen actually able to turn things around. There's going to be a blink back there for Corki, which means he's got less escapes. Gragas soaking up a lot of damage. Gwen trying to mop things up. This is a full 3v3, and dealing with Ziggs and Corki is going to be hard to deal with. Gragas going to try to go around once again, going to go for that Orianna. Looks like they may not be able to see it coming their way, and the dragon could go to either side. Gwen taking a bunch of free damage there. Got to watch out for it. Get so close to going down. So close, and there it is. She's actually going to get killed by the Ziggs, unfortunately for her. MF having to back off, but maybe trying to go for the Corki. She's going to blink forward, and indeed, She's going to get the Corki, so at least that's going to be a shutdown for MF. They did lose the Dragon, which was unfortunate, but at least MF was able to come out with a kill.
Also, through the midst of that, going to be the feats of strength going over to the side of Spaghetti Spire. That's their third objective, and it was just a little bit early from Auntie's Lima. I did understand what they were trying to do, knowing that they can't take damage from range within that little bubble on the Gwen, but they're just too low health themselves at the second that they got even remotely close to the Corki. Went down, as just mentioned, at the very least on the backside, Slayer evens up the total amount of kills and does pick up that shutdown. And so, really, the gold remains just about the same amount as it has been before that fight. But importantly, it's going to be the fancy boots for Spaghetti Spire, that extra strength under the belt.
Barrio struggling pretty hard here in the team fights, more than I expected to, and maybe they're just waiting for Gwen to come online. And Gwen almost tipped the scales there. I just don't think she had the gold in order to do what she needed to do. Jarvan does need to watch out, though. Trundle is on his tail. MF is here to support things out, and Oriana's waiting for her opportunity to go in. Jarvan's going to hop in. He's going to grab the jungle. Trundle's got to watch out for it as it goes down about half HP, taking at least one tower shot. Zig's going to try to isolate the Oriana. Oriana does indeed get isolated. Going to get taken down. They got to watch out. There's going to be another pretty good bullet time, but followed into a Leona ult, and Ziggs will grab another kill there. He's got to watch out for it. Jarvan going down there in the background. El Barrio is in danger.
Yeah, the initial cataclysm from Tid only finds one. Same thing with the shockwave as well. Just not a lot of damage available after that first portion of the combo comes down. Slayer dropping the bullet time, but it's been really good from the side of Spaghetti Spire. They've been very patient in waiting for Slayer to use that bullet time where they are vulnerable, where they are easily targetable, and just canceling it and getting a ton of damage onto this Misfortune, not allowing Slayer to really do the damage that they would like to do in these fights. So just generally really patient and really well executed for the side of the Spaghetti Spire, knowing what El Barrio has to do and knowing the exact positions that they're going to try to do it, especially in those choke points. I really like how Moonshot's been there and interrupting.
Gragas getting grabbed here by Rel, but it looks like they do not want the fight, and I don't really blame them. El Barrio's probably lost a little bit of wind in their sail. Spaghetti Spire is going to grab the Autocon, so that's going to be more gold in the bank. It looks like it's 42.6k to 36.9k. Gragas getting grabbed once again by the Rel. Is it? No, she's got to watch out for it. Just barely. Really anything that could have turned either way, that could have tipped the scales. Unfortunately, Rel did thread the needle, avoiding the obvious path forward, having a little bit of control, maintaining her composure. But that almost spelled the doom for Gragas, and then almost quickly spelled the doom for Rel. It could have turned around rather quickly. Oriana's got to watch out, but it looks like Corki is indeed going to be the target. And finally, some much-needed gold on El Barrio's side. MF putting in a lot of work. I think so far she's been the MVP of their side of the team, doing a whole bunch of damage. Not that Oriana's done nothing, but the ults there for MF could have been slightly better, but I think they've been pretty good. Ooh, Leona wasting her ult there, but she doesn't miss her lunge whatsoever. Gonna grab the MF. MF just barely not able to get out. Trundle trying to do it. It looks like Oriana's gonna come in here for the save, but it's not gonna be enough. Ziggs getting a whole bunch of damage there. Fight still going on. Gwen finally online. Is it gonna be enough to turn things around? No, it's not. El Barrio's beginning to melt. Gonna get taken down. They've got to watch out for this Gragas. He's gonna do so much work. It's turned into a 2v2. If never mind. Oriana gonna go down. Only one left being the jungle. Can the Jarvan make it out? No, it's not over just quite yet, as Gragas does manage to get a slow and a knockup following in the damage, and then there is going to be the ace for Spaghetti Spire.
That was a 4v5, by the way, for a large portion of it. Moonshot has been so influential in these fights. Previously, it was making sure that Slayer couldn't layer this combination on itself, but at this point, I mean, Moonshot, the fully stacked Rod of Ages, Seraph's Embrace now online as well. With the Sheen, this guy, he's going to cast one ability, hop forward, auto attack, do so much damage. and then drop it, just any of his abilities over top of them, layering in. It has been so influential, as well as being basically impossible to kill with the health and with the damage resistance and just everything that Gragas has. Moonshot really is a full-on problem, but it's going to be El Barrio going in trying to
Gonna get our
here.
last 5v5. Whoever wins this, I think, can win the match. There it is. It looks like Leon is going to get a pretty good stun there, and a knockback followed shortly behind Gragas, and the damage is just not here for El Barrio as they absolutely get melted, leaving Rel. They're the only one left. That's going to be so much more gold there for TSS, and they're going to grab a Drake from it as well, and probably a bunch of towers, I would imagine.
They're going to end. They're going to win. They're going for it. That's an ace. The kill times are so long. They have a push in mid lane. They're going to end this. They say, who needs Drake when we can end the game? That is a massive wave in the mid lane. That's the fight that they needed. And in 26 minutes, the Spaghetti Spire, with an overall really strong performance. I didn't quite expect
Jarvan
that
is
it would
up.
end
Is he
this
going to be able to
soon.
delay things? He just needs a little bit more. He's going to back off right there at the end. And there it is, folks. Spaghetti Spire has climbed Mount El Barrio, and El Barrio has been found wanting. As that's going to be a 2-1 for our final score. Congratulations to the Spaghetti Spire.
Yeah, and I really liked the patience from the CC on the side of Spaghetti Spire, knowing that the combination from El Barrio with from Satan down to Supporta, that's where all their damage would come from, with the bullet time over the top of the Cataclysm and the Shockwave. Just waiting for the bullet time to be casted, and then using the explosive cast, and in that last fight also the solar flare onto this Misfortune, not allowing Slayer to do anything in these fights. And while by the end you could argue that the gold difference was also a huge part of that, it's still every single fight that Spaghetti Spire was in, they knew that's exactly what they had to do, and they found the angle every time.
We are going to transition into a short break right before interviews, so give us a couple of moments as we gather the players, and we'll wrap this whole thing up with the interviews. See you then.
Let's go.
Welcome back, Summoners. We have climbed to the top of the Spaghetti Spire and we found a Danny, the coach for Spaghetti Spire. Say hi, Danny.
Hey guys.
First question: how do you feel about your team's performance? Where were your highs and where were your lows?
Uh Honestly, especially after the response my guys had after game 1, nobody was really tilted. No one was very like uncomfortable, angry. Like spirits were pretty good that they were able to come back and keep playing the game, which was really nice to see. And just the way that they were able to play out the team fights and the drafts that I gave them I'm honestly so proud of them.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you about the games 1 and 2 draft, specifically around this Aatrox and this Belveth, since they've been permabanned against you guys. Was it a like an intentional separation to get like two favorite comfort champs on your guys in two separate games to like not pick them both in game one, or was there like a specific angle that you saw to like not go for the Belveth in game one?
It was more of an angle, I'd say. Like if I take a quick look at the drafts for game 1 again, like I just felt like we needed a little bit more lockdown, especially considering they decided to just rip a Zeri Lulu like off rip. I felt like considering what we also had with the Jinx, something like a Belveth, which requires a lot of resources as well, probably wasn't what we needed. Um, hindsight, maybe it could have been like a little bit better, but in general, we just wanted something to like give good lockdown for the team to play around. And top lane was open. It's one of his best champions. It's a really good blind pick right now, Aatrox. So it just felt like an easy push button and have fun, you know.
And then I guess I'm going to follow it up with during that second game. Where did you feel you guys started to fall apart? Like what was not working for you?
During which game? Sorry.
The second one, and unless I've got it backwards, and
I
then it
think
was
you've got
the
it
first one. Your
backwards.
first L. Oh, so they
You've
right
got it. You
because
got it backwards.
okay,
You
yeah,
got it
yeah, right.
backwards.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't get that one backwards. But when you did take that loss, where do you think that things fell apart? Like, why did y'all lose that game?
I felt like the boys were trying to play too fast. We have a very strong, I'd say like level 6 team fighting comp and tools to like play relatively safe. And unfortunately, like the early game just went too, like I said, too fast in the enemy's favor, and then a botched early top gank as well set us behind even farther. And our that I would say that's on me and not being able to like have the guys have like some tools to come back from a difficult position. It is rare, I'd say, that we fall behind as hard as we did in the early game, but I'm like I said, I'm just so proud mentally that everyone was able to stay together even after a tough first game to continue to perform like, it's just like another day at the office, no biggie, another dub against a really good team that we were expecting to have a tough series against.
Well, so since you are the coach, I wanted to ask you as well. Who's your player of this series?
Honestly, I'm really proud of Moon in particular for having a very solid 3 games in general. I think he was definitely the most consistent, I'd say, of the 3. Like I think everyone had like kind of like one tough game or tough series. Like most of it probably was in like the first game, and everyone made like a couple of mistakes here and there. But Moon just being like just a solid rock for the guys to rely on even when things are hard is always really nice to see. Um so yeah, I guess I'll give it a Moon.
Cool, cool.
And normally I tailor this to what do you want to say to the other teams, but since you're the coach, what I want to know is, do you have anything to say to the remaining coaches going further on into this?
Yeah, my drafts are going to be better, and if you're not studying and scouting as much as I do for everybody here, we're going to outdraft you. Don't you worry.
Nice. So
Bold,
before,
bold words. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So
100%.
before we close this out, are there any shout outs that we'd like to give? This is the segment that we give our interviewees to say whatever they want to like to give credit to where they want it.
Honestly, shout out to Spire, particularly the three owners, which at Black Mass in particular, for letting me take on this team coaching full time. This is sort of like my first actual like coaching position within the Spire. At first it was just like, at first I was just like, coming in helping draft whenever somebody else who was helping them with draft would come along, but things worked out so well that they asked me if I could, help them with their first league. This is this team's first league as well. And I'm very, very proud of how the guys are performing. And honestly, really, really like it's and for you guys as well. Like considering I think this is what I heard is that this is the first season for you guys for the Ember League.
It is the first season of
No,
Ember League.
no, yeah, like production, everything you guys are doing is really awesome. Like we have a lot of love from the Spire for you guys and how you guys are running things and how professional everything is. And yeah, like just really happy to have the opportunity to play here. Coach and draft.
And with that, I'll close us out. Huge thank you to all of the players, teams, coaches, producers, casters that have so far put in coverage time and spent all of this time to give us all something pleasant and nice to watch. These matches have been pretty good to enjoy, and I have enjoyed them ever so much. I have been your host, Korak, joined today by Mr. Isaac's Cast. Thank you so much. Transition out.
Socials. Don't forget socials.